Hello Year 6 and welcome to Monday the 18th of May's maths video. So this week we're going to be looking at ratio and proportion. So today's lesson is going to look at an introduction to ratio. So let's have a look at this question here. Write down the ratio of blue to black beads. So let's have a look. How many blue beads are there? Well, there's 2 blue beads to how many black beads? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 blue beads to 6 black beads. Can anybody remember what symbol we use to show ratio? We have covered this in school. We use the little semicolon. So this means 2 blue beads to 6 black beads. Now it's asking us here a question. Write another ratio equivalent to this one. So my original ratio is 2 to 6. With ratios, we can scale them up or we can scale them down. So if I write this here, 2 to 6. Now if we're looking at scaling down a ratio, we have to find a common factor that is shared between 2 and 6. That when we divide by, we get the answer. So is there a common factor of 2 and 6? 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2, 3. So I have just found there an equivalent ratio. 2 blue beads to 6 black beads is equivalent to every 1 blue bead, there's 3 black beads. So right there, we've scaled the ratio down. You can also scale ratios up, which means that we're going to make the ratio bigger. If we're making the ratio bigger, then we do it by the same number. So let's take 2. You can times them both by 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 6 times 2 is 12. So my new ratio is 4 blue beads to 12 black beads. And you can see that here. We say that all of these ratios are equivalent. And from my original ratio, we have scaled it down and then we have scaled it up. To scale them up, you multiply the ratio, both of them by the same number. To scale them down, okay. So this question says here, complete the table for this pattern. So let's have a look at this pattern here. For every blue bead, there are how many black beads? Have a look. We've got 1 blue bead and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 black beads. So how do I write that as a ratio? The ratio of blue beads to black beads is, well, there's 1 blue bead to 5 black beads. The ratio is 1 to 5. Now this question here, it said give your ratio in its simplest terms. That means to make sure that you can't scale the ratio down any further. So if we look at 1 to 5, is there a common factor that is shared between 1 and 5? No, there's not. Therefore, it's in its simplest terms. If the ratio was 4 to 20, then this ratio wouldn't be in its simplest terms, and we simplify by finding a common factor. So what common factor could we use? We'd use 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 20 divided by 4 is 5. If you have a question which says give it your ratio in its simplest terms, you must scale your ratio down. Now let's have a look at this here. So we have to complete the blanks in this table. So the first one's been done for us. This one here, if we have a look, we've got 2 blue beads. Well, we very helpfully got the pattern here, so we could count. If I have 2 blue beads, how many black beads do I have? Well, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Easy. Then you add them together, well, that's 12 beads in total. And you do it like that using this pattern that we've got here. However, is there another way that we could do it? If you think my ratio is 1 to 5, and as I continue my pattern, I'm now going to have 2 blue beads. What am I doing here to my ratio? I'm scaling it up. And we know that when we scale up, we have to multiply by the same number. So what do I multiply by 1 to get to 2? Well, I multiply it by 2. So if I've multiplied by 2 this side, I have to multiply by 2 this side. 2 times 5, 10. And I can repeat that for this one here. If you're starting to get the gist of this, then pause the video, have a go at the rest of the table by yourself. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. So now I've got 3. So now let's look back at my original ratio, which is 1 to 5. And I can say to myself, well, what do I do to 1 to get to 3? What do I times it by? I times it by 3. So what will I need to do to 5? I need to times it by 3. 5 times 3, 15. So I've got this one done now. 15 add 3, 18. This next one is a bit trickier. It doesn't tell me the number of blue beads. This time I've been given the number of black beads. How would I go about solving that? Well, let's write my ratio. I know that it's 30 black beads. Let's look at my original ratio here. What do I times by 5 to get to 30? 6. And I know that whatever I times my one ratio by, I have to times the other by. So 1 times 6 is 6. 30 add 6, 36. Ooh, that 3 is not very good. Then let's have a look at this one here. So I've been given my 9 again. 1 times 9 is 9. 5 times 9 is 45. Add that together. 54. And now we just have this last one to do. Now this last one here is probably the trickiest one because we've only been given the total beads. So we know that this ratio and this ratio will give me 66 beads in total. So how could we do this? Well, we could go about using trial and error. I know that my pattern here, my ratio is increasing, we're scaling it up. So if we think 9, what's the next one? Well, 10. Let's go with 10. So if I think original ratio 1 to 5, I'm now going to use trial and error. Let's try if it's 10. What do I do to 1 to get to 10? I times it by 10. 5 times 10 is 50. What's 10 add 50? Not right. I need 66 beads. So let's try another one. Trial and error. How about 11? Because I know I'm close, so I don't want to go too far ahead, choose too many blue beads. 1 times 11 is 11. 5 times 11 is 55. 55 add 11. 55 add 10 and add the 1 is 66. So I've found my ratio. So there we have it. In this video, children, we have recapped what actually is ratio. We have looked at how to scale up a ratio, how to scale down. And you'll be practicing those skills in today's My Maths task. So here we have the challenges. Pause the video, have a go at them, and we'll be going through the answers tomorrow. Thank you for listening, Year 6.